too, but there's also this issue of Apple does seem to be spending a lot of effort.
I'm Scott Kirsner. I run the blog CinemaTech. I'm here in Santa Monica, California, talking with Peter Broderick. Peter is the founder of Paradigm Consulting, which works with independent filmmakers. Their website is www.peterbroderick.com. So Peter, you are just back from Cannes. I'd love to hear just some of your impressions of the festival this year.
Cannes is a really intense experience, but I think it's really fun. It's if you're interested in networking in the film business, it's the sort of meta-networking experience where you can stand on a street corner and within 5 minutes people that you haven't seen in years will be walking by and conversations will be breaking out. So I really enjoyed it, and there were really good films this year too.
Are you starting to see the deal-making at Cannes shift from being focused on theatrical and home video distribution to thinking about new media stuff?
Well, one shift that I did see, there was more digital projection this year at Cannes than ever before. I think there were 30 films altogether that were, and these included films in competition and in different sections, and there were lots of films in the market that were projected digitally. And Cannes been digital for a couple years, but at one point it was a real holdout to see. I mean, Zodiac was projected digitally, for example, the David Fincher film. Mm-hmm. So that's been an evolution that's been pretty rapid. In terms of distribution, I think that it's complicated. There are a lot of sales agents who have been doing things the same way for decades. And so they hear about this new stuff and they go, okay, but we're going to still sell our films territory by territory because that's what we know. And you go, okay, but what about the territories where the films aren't sold and the access that there could be to those films, people internationally? So they really haven't figured that out too well. Then there's the question about internet rights and what they are, and streaming versus downloading, and downloading and burning, or downloading and not burning, and can you control it on a territory model where you use IP addresses to do it? And there's just a whole lot of confusion. I was on the phone with someone this morning who, he's a new company and he's dealing with sales agents and distributors to get rights, and he said the sales agents really are totally not receptive to this whole issue of internet rights and how it works. The distributors and territories are more open to it. But I assume that there are situations where they're doing non-exclusive deals and they're saying, okay, sure, if you want to license this movie in Germany for digital download rights, we'll license it to lots of places, and usually those deals are 50-50 deals with no advances, so they'll just see where revenue comes from. But I think there's a real lag among both distributors, sales agents, as well as financiers in understanding these newer models, because when digital filmmaking came along, the holdouts against digital filmmaking were cinematographers and film professors. So when digital distribution comes along, the holdouts against digital distribution are going to be sales agents and traditional distributors. It's just because it's what they know, and their expertise is sort of in some way being challenged or undercut.
When people talk about technology at Cannes, what are they talking about? Are they talking about iTunes or Joost or Google Video, other websites like that?
Well, I don't think I have any cross-section of what people were talking about at Cannes. Joost got mentioned a bunch of times. iTunes is always, people are always aware. I think Jaman, there's more awareness of Jaman. They were there last year in the American Pavilion. They were there again this year. But I think there's you can mention names of companies, but you can kind of, it's kind of like a litany. Oh yeah, there's this and that. But whether you have any real understanding of how they operate and how your business model operates, I'm not always persuaded. So I think that it's sort of like people are nibbling at the edges of this, and the people in the center are trying to hold on to the old model, as long as they can. And I think they have an unrealistic idea about how long that'll be possible.
Were there some new technologies you saw, or new technology trends that were kind of gaining momentum or bubbling up there? Or if not, did you have a favorite movie?
I think my favorite film at Cannes was the film that won the Palme d'Or, which is 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days. This Romanian film that is in the same tradition as the Death of Mr. Lazarescu, which was there the year before. And it's kind of social realism, the story of 2 young women, one of whom is trying to get an illegal abortion, and what happens. And it was interesting, I saw it the same day that I saw the Coen brothers' new film, which is very good. And the Romanian film is, I think, more riveting than the Coen brothers' film, because once you get caught up in this world with these women, and you know bad things are happening, you just don't know when and what they're going to be, and so you're with them through the whole experience. I think it's you know, but that's an interesting example. That film the rights were acquired by IFC very quickly, and in IFC's model, they open it in a few theaters, and it's also available online at the same time. And it's called, I think it's called First Takes, if I remember. So, and they pay less of an advance. The focus is less on traditional theatrical. It will definitely have theatrical, but they're really trying to, you know, have a revenue model which is coming from the VOD, and so.
Do you think that's going to work? Are they acquiring it for broadcast too, not just video on demand?
No, it's pay-per-view essentially kind of model initially. So eventually, yeah, it'll be on the Independent Film Channel, but that could be, you know, a long time away. Now, the fact that IFC was able to make the deal so quickly could be indicative of a couple different things. It could be that their model is working well enough, the revenues that are coming in, you know, are significant enough that other people can say, okay, well, sure, we're going to get less of an advance, but we're going to get real money on the back end. It could be, to some extent, you know, here's a movie about an illegal abortion shot in Romania, and regular distributors think, well, nobody's going to want to see this in a movie theater. I don't know what the combination is, but basically IFC got that, and they also got the Ho Shen film, which was about the Red Balloon kind of tribute film, Flight of the Red Balloon, and they got that pretty quickly too.